go, you and I, when the moon is in the sky. Let us go, don't ask why.
Flynn, great speaking with you. As we speak, I'm just curious, what part of the world are you in right now? Are you here in Toronto? Are you in Boston? Where are you exactly?
I am here in Toronto right now, actually. Yeah, I'm headed back to Boston in a couple of weeks from now to get back to my school at Berklee College of Music, but I've been here over the holidays, and I've been really enjoying being at home.
Have you been traveling back and forth throughout the COVID-19 during the pandemic? And if so, how has that been for you, not just personally, but career-wise as well?
Yeah, so it's been obviously such a strange time, and I had to come home in March of last year when I think everyone kind of shut things down. My dad had to come rescue me out of Boston, and then I've just basically been in Toronto, sort of hunkered down for the majority of the time since that point. Luckily, I have a great situation at home with my parents and my dog, so we've just been able to sort of run things from here. But typically, yeah, I'd be in Boston for the fall semester and the spring semester, but you know, these are strange times. So it's been mostly here in Toronto. I have my sort of home studio here in my basement, which I've been spending basically all of my hours in. And that's been about it. But yeah, now I'm going to be heading back for this upcoming semester in a very limited way. It's a sort of a hybrid semester, so basically everything I'll be doing will be online. But trying to make the most of a strange time.
Just curious, though, too, because of everything that's been happening for this last year, not just with COVID, but everything else, from Black Lives Matters to what's been going on in the U.S. to Karens and Kevins and masks versus no masks and so many other different things happening. Has it changed the way you look at the world? Has it changed the way that you're writing music now?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's been a crazy year, you're right, and more than just a COVID way, in so many social and political ways as well. You know, I think one of the effects of COVID is that everybody is at home and everybody's having the time to really think about the issues that have been plaguing us for a long time. And this has all come to fruition, you know, thanks in part to social media and what that's done for the ability to spread the word about these types of issues. And I think, yes, it has, especially as an artist, affect the way that I see the world and that I write music. There's a lot to be writing about right now. And just seeing the importance of artists speaking up, and some of the people that I look up to are taking this time right now to make their voices heard. And I think that, you know, not every artist takes it upon themselves to do so, and it's not necessarily something that everybody feels that they need to do. But if you have a platform, it's important to speak your mind, I think, and speak up for injustices that are happening in the world, because there's plenty of them right now. So I think, yeah, moving forward in my career, it's going to be something that is pretty important to weave into my professional career, because, you know, there's a lot that needs to be done right now.
Absolutely. But right now, you've got new music, Save Me, which we're going to talk about. Congratulations on the new single. Before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about your career, too. The love of music, where did that all begin for you, sir?
Began a long while ago. I'm 21 years old now, so I started picking up the guitar when I was around 6. My dad's a musician, so music's always been very much around the house. I got my first guitar from Santa Claus when I was the age of 7, I believe, and it was like a 3/4 size Ibanez electric guitar. And basically from that point on, I've been sort of addicted to playing and writing. I wrote my first song when I was like 9 or 10. I started a band when I was in 2nd grade, and we played like classic rock songs. Our first song was Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. We did that at our school's fun fair. And we played all over Toronto, different clubs and festivals, and that basically went until for about 9 or 10 years, all through high school. We were playing, and I started to write music on my own by the time I was 11 or 12, recording it onto GarageBand and then Logic on my computer. I learned a bunch of different instruments, drums, bass, piano. I sing. And then I just sort of started to take advantage of the technology that we have today and set up a little home studio and recorded everything on my computer, and that's been going for 8 or 9 years to this point now. So it's always been sort of a focal point in my life, and lucky to be studying it now, and have a ton of amazing musical friends who form up sort of my network of musical connections now. So it's just, it's kind of, I live and breathe music.
You mentioned your dad a few times. It would I would kick myself not to be able to talk about him and how much of an influence he's been in your career. Plus the fact he helped me out in having me host a big event for a couple of years down at City Hall, which was City Hall Live. Who is your dad?
Right.
And how has what has your dad done over the years? Because if anything, people don't realize he's somebody extremely important for the indie music scene, especially here in Toronto.
Yeah, so my dad is Mike Tanner. He is currently the music sector development officer at the City of Toronto, which basically means he's kind of the music portion of the city's of the city. So he focuses on sticking up for small venues, big venues, festivals wanting to come into the city, keeping certain legislation in place to allow sort of grassroots artists and everyone connected into the music industry to grow and to thrive and to make Toronto a better music city overall, basically. So, he's had a huge impact, obviously, on my musical life and development. I think probably the biggest one, though, has just been the support that he's given me as a musician. And this goes equally for my mom and my dad. They've both been incredibly supportive, and they just sort of love to support me in whatever I'm doing, not even music. Like, I love sports as well. They're always coaching my teams and driving me here and there for all my practices. So more than what his title is at the city now, which is awesome, and he does a lot of great work there, but it's just the sort of fostering that love within me, and we get to play together all the time. That's one of the benefits of being home for these past 10 months or so. We get to play music. We'll just jam together. We'll play out on the porch, or we'll play inside. We'll run through like full albums together on the piano and guitar and stuff like that. So that musical connection is something that I've really benefited from.
And just curious too, I know a lot of people have asked about this, and maybe you can let us know, how does your dad keep a year-long tan?
Well, it's in the name. For tanners. Yeah, how else?
There you go. The secret has finally been told.
Yeah.
But you can tell, though, that you do have a love for the old school sound, too, because we start talking about this single in just a moment, though. Your sound, from what I hear, really has this 80s influence, almost like a Phil Collins kind of thing. Am I correct or incorrect?
Yeah, no, that's definitely an astute observation. I would agree with that for sure. I kind of grew up on a lot of old music through my parents. Stuff ranging basically from the 50s, like early rock and roll, right through the 60s, 70s, 80s. And this is my first CD that I ever got was the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds, and that was kind of like the children's music that my parents decided to play for me. Yeah.
What a way to start it out. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Sorry, continue.
These sounds. Sorry. No, you're good. Sorry to keep going. But just saying, those sounds definitely percolate into the type of music that I write now, whether I even try to or not. It's just kind of ingrained within the musical DNA.
Well, let's get into this new single. We mentioned the name before, but we'll go right back to it. What's the name of the new single? What's the song about, and where did the inspiration come from?
Yeah, so it's called Save Me. I wrote this song back in around June of last year. It's definitely about kind of like being stuck and isolated within your own home and within your mind, really. And if it's not obvious by this point, it was written in the height of like the pandemic and in the midst of a quarantine when I was basically just living in the basement and kind of doing music and not seeing that many people because it wasn't allowed. So I sort of talk about the sort of parallels between being stuck inside your mind and overthinking everything and wondering, like, do I go outside? Do I wear these shoes? Do I do this? Do I do that? And what I was actually going through, which is what a lot of people were going through, being isolated from friends, not being able to, go do sports activities, stuff like that. So Save Me is kind of a song for the current times.
Save me from myself, 'cause I'm alone inside my house. Save me from myself, 'cause I'm alone, I'm falling down. I never thought, I never dreamed, I never saw this side of me. Save me, 'cause I'm waiting to be found. Save me, 'cause I'm waiting to be found.
And it was all recorded by me in my home studio. Yeah, so I just recorded all the things and all the different instruments, mixed it, produced it, and I'm excited that it's actually finally coming out now.
Amazing. Congratulations on that. This is what inspiration is like when you're going through a hard time and finding a silver lining in this, and you've been able to do that. Is there a video going to follow with this? And if so, how are you going to do this during this pandemic?
That's a good question. We're working on some video stuff, but it is hard during the pandemic, Like, usually I'd get some of my musician friends together and we'd probably do a live version of the song, because I always like when I see my favorite artists put out like a slightly alternate take of a song in a live scenario. So I'd get into the studio at Berkeley and we'd do something like that. But right now, none of that is open. So it's kind of a good time to try and brainstorm some creative new ideas. I've seen some cool stuff with like animations and art, so looking at incorporating some creative ideas, but I'd be lying if I told you I knew exactly what was going to come next for the video.
Well, we're looking forward to that, though, whatever you do come up with, because I've seen a lot of artists come up with some really creative things during this time, and they've said, too, that I would never have thought of this or done this if it wasn't for what's going on right now. So, young man like yourself,
Sure.
I cannot wait to see what you're going to come up with. Also cannot wait to see what other music is going to be coming out. Is an EP going to follow this, or an album in 2021?
Yeah, looking at maybe releasing an EP. That's the goal for 2021. I'm always sort of writing new songs and recording them in my studio and whatnot. I also love to collaborate with people. I have a lot of really talented friends, mostly through school. So I'll often be playing guitar or helping to produce or mix or whatever on their tracks. So that stuff is always in the works. But for my own self, yeah, I have a few new songs that are coming to fruition right now. And yeah, I'd love to release an EP somewhere in the summer. Yeah, that'd be the goal.
Any chance that you and your dad could collaborate on a song or an EP or anything like that? I mean, Randy Bachman and his son have done it. Any chance that you guys could do it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we kind of collaborate all the time, honestly. Whether it's recording music that we've sort of written together, or something that he's come up with, or he's helped me writing my own songs as well. So collaborating is something that we like to do, and it comes pretty naturally. So I'd say this is definitely in the cards. Yeah.
Okay, looking forward to that. What about live streaming? Because, of course, as much as your dad has promoted live performances and things like that, we can't do that right now. But I know he's still helping out with live streaming indie artists through City Hall. Any chance that you're going to be doing any live streaming yourself throughout your means, through Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great point. Live streaming has really become such an important factor in this past year, right? Like, I think that it really exploded coming out of the pandemic, where everybody was live streaming. I didn't really do it then, but now I'm definitely looking into it more, because I've just missed playing live so much. So sure, I'll be trying to get some live streams going. I've already been a part of some digital, I don't know what the right way to phrase it, but some some videos where you know there's a split screen and there's 4 different musicians playing on a track, and then the video will come out. Been a part of a few of those. So if I could get something together like that to have musicians play my song, that would be great. And then live streaming on Instagram, you know, Facebook, TikTok, even these platforms are so big, and it's such an important factor to keep playing live and keep that element of my artistry up. So for sure, be planning on doing that.
I think now is a good time doing it. I know that, as you mentioned, a lot of people were jumping on at the beginning, but I don't think anybody knew what they were doing. So there were so many technical problems, visual problems, sound problems, and you know, it's one of the reasons why I'm still, even though I'm now slowly going to get into it, I do, as folks can hear on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, RudyBlairMedia.com, doing phone interviews because I just find that the Zoom interviews, especially in the beginning, were all so bad because nobody knew what was going on. Now they seem to be fixing the problem. So I could see you doing some live stream performances, which is why eventually when you and I speak again, most likely, if it's not in person, it'll be on Zoom. So I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, in social media, where do we go to follow you to find out everything that's happening with you in 2021? Sure,
Flynn_Tanner on Instagram. That's probably my main platform these days. I also got a website. It's just www.flynntanner.com. Everything is kind of centered there. Twitter as well. That's about it. And then on Spotify, of course. So I have 2 previous songs that are out from 2020, and then I got my next one coming out on February 5th.
Looking forward to everything you're doing, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Cross fingers that we do, hopefully sometime in 2021, do another interview on more music, but it'll be in person. And please say hello to your dad, and I hope everybody in your family is going to be safe.
Thank you very much. Nice chatting with you, Rudy.
Take care. Be safe. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Save me, and I'm waiting to be found. Yes, I'm waiting to be found. 'Cause I'm waiting to be found.